So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste, and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talks 246th episode. I am Daksh Gaur. A very warm welcome to all of you. I am the founder of the Blub World magazine and the World Teen Parliament. तो नमस्कार, आप सभी का स्वागत है द ब्लब वर्ल्ड वेब टॉक्स के 246वें एपिसोड में। पिछले 245 एपिसोड्स में हमने करीबन 4000 से ज्यादा शिक्षाविदों से बातचीत की और उनसे ये जानने की कोशिश की कि वो शिक्षा को कैसे बदल रहे हैं और शिक्षा उन्हें कैसे बदल रही है। In the last 445 episodes, we have interacted with more than 4,000 school leaders where they have shared their ideas, opinions, innovations, and what all new are they doing in the education space. So let's start this amazing roller coaster ride of the Blub World Web Talks 246th episode. We'll be talking about what guarantees a teen's success: degrees, skills, or entrepreneurship. क्या ऐसा पढ़ें, क्या ऐसा सीखें कि जब एक किशोर बड़ा हो तो ही इज श्योर दैट ही विल बिकम सक्सेसफुल, वो जीवन में सफलता अचीव कर लेगा। उसके लिए उसे डिग्री पर ज्यादा ध्यान देना है, उसे अपनी स्किल्स पर ज्यादा ध्यान देना है, या उसे एक उद्यमी बन जाना है या एंटरप्रेन्योर हो जाना है। This is what we'll try to know in the next 30 to 40 minutes that we have with amazing guests today. So let's start this session with an amazing guest who brings in the perspective of the human resource guy. The university people, you're always looking up to these people for the placements. They're looking at universities for the right kind of talent. Children are looking at them as future employers. So what do they think of this question? How do they evaluate a person when they come to them? Is it the degree? Is it the skill level? Or is it the enterprising ability? Because a lot of HR people right now want entrepreneurs, people to become employees but still be enterprising enough. So what's the perspective of that amazing personality on this topic? A very warm welcome to the first guest for today. A very warm welcome, Dr. Naganagouda S, the Chief Growth Officer for Pravaara Technologies from Bengaluru, Karnataka. Sir, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Namaskar. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, the youth power of India. It's great to be here on this platform. The question is very pertinent and very, very relevant in today's context. If you ask me from an HR point of view, the world has evolved in HR in the last 4 decades or so. We are moving, actually talking about Industry 4.0, where degree doesn't matter, all right? Age doesn't matter, right? What matters is what you have as an armory that you bring with you. So in a sense, what we need is a well-rounded personality is the order of the day today. It is not about either of these three. All these three are very much required, very much relevant. So you cannot coexist without one another, right? So the point here is degree is the gateway to opportunities, right? Skills is the currency of the new world, right? And the third thing, which is entrepreneurship, you talked about one element. I want to introduce another new element. We don't want in the organization today who comes and does job between 9 to 6. They expect certain set of guidelines, certain rules, and they follow that and go home. No, the workplace has changed completely, dramatically transformed in the last 10 years. Today, we need people who brings in the intellectual curiosity.
Thank you so much, Naganagouda, for the perfect and I think the apt start to this topic. You very well, articulated it that the degree is your gate pass. If you want to get into nice institutions, if you want to get into amazing organizations, if you want to get hired by those top 500 organizations in the world, the degree is your gate pass. So you'll need it for sure. The second thing that we talk about is skill. That's your currency. If you have something in your pocket only, then you can have a transaction. So have that in your pockets. And most importantly, entrepreneurship, not only with the perspective of disrupting everything. Entrepreneurship with the perspective of, are you really self-aware? Have you introspected enough? Have you dig down deep inside yourself to find out the individual that you really are? I think this is something that, the social media world has taught the world to be far more authentic. Even brands have to say the truth out loud on social media because people don't let you hide behind curtains anymore. So as an individual, how much effort are you taking towards that will totally define whether you will be successful in life or not. And most importantly, if you have joined us on YouTube, if you have any comments, any suggestions, please put them in the comments, and our team will make sure that we ask the same questions to the guests as well. Thank you so much, Naganagouda sir. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Ms. Nishi Mishra, the Outreach and Higher Education Specialist from OP Jindal Global University, Sonipat, Haryana. Nishi ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Daksh, for such a nice welcome. I think the purpose when we say ki guarantee kya hai, is it the skill? Is it the degree? Is it the entrepreneurship? I think there is no guarantee, neither about the degree, neither about the skill, or not about the entrepreneurship. It's your self-motivation, the purpose of the life that help you become whatever you want to become. And I think the most important thing here, the people should be talking on this platform should be about the skill. How we develop the skill during attaining a degree program so that we can either be an entrepreneur or join a company. I think the most important thing here to be talked is that the sense of resilience, peace, motivation, dedication, how it has to be given to the people around or the student around the globe. That's extremely important. People don't understand about the fact that we here at the admissions role don't only have to mentor them about the program, but also guide them about their whole personality.
Thank you so much, Nishiji. You have articulated it very nicely. You have said it very right that there's no guarantee when you talk of education, self-development, or you becoming a professional, and finally, whether you'll be able to make it or not. But I think this is the aspiration that every teenager has, and this is the aspiration that every parent brings to the table of a university, that can you in some way make sure that my child or my ward is able to, make ends meet and make good money once they go through that specific course that they're enrolling into. And I think you have a very difficult job to give them that complete transition when they have they're coming with the expectation of guarantees, and you have to take them to a completely new era of things, that the perception of the world that they bring to you has completely changed, is superbly evolving. It will keep changing, and there can never be any guarantees. So I think you sometimes become the bearer of the bad news. And that's where a lot of teens, a lot of parents sometimes get disheartened, and a lot of times develop a different sense of insecurity. For a parent, once the child starts going to university, when they're, paying that hefty fees, the parent becomes super insecure. The teenager or the student comes into a new atmosphere, not understanding that what am I really here to achieve? That's the kind of dilemma that they live through. And I think we should all be applauding every single teen, because we were all teens at some point of time, that's the phase that we struggle the most. And we keep judging that teenager even when we as individuals grow up. Every single one who you see on the screen, even when they're complete adults, they keep judging themselves when they were a teenager. So how do we support these teens is something that we have to look out for. Thank you so much, Nishiji. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Dr. Shesadev Nayak, who's a professor from the School of Management for OP Jindal University, Raigad, Chhattisgarh. Shesadev, before you start, a very specific question to you. Managerial roles have, changed dramatically in organizations. So what do you think, with this perspective in mind, that what would work to make a teenager successful? Over to you, sir, and a very warm welcome.
Yes, rightly pointed out, Daksh. Nowadays, it is not unusual for you to find a vice president who is just 30-year-old. Okay. And so the earlier stages of let's say, if a person becomes a CEO at the age of 55 and a general manager at the age of 45 are gone. Right. Now, what I needed to say is, what makes a 30-year-old guy become a vice president of a company in charge of the generating revenue and profits for the organization? And I would say this is a combination of not only the three things that we talked about here, that is the degree, the skills, and entrepreneurship, but also there is a fourth or fifth dimensions involved in it, right? See, I mean, to put things in the perspective, there are some professions in which degree is a must. Without the degree, you cannot do anything. For example, medicine, law, engineering, chartered accountancy. Here, even if it takes an n number of years to complete your degree, without a degree, you cannot start your journey, professional journey. So that becomes your passport. Well, second is what skill set you bring on the table. Correct. That is what differentiates you from others, right? That is in addition to the degree that you have learned, which is primarily theoretical, to some extent practical in terms of internships and projects and all, but most of them are theoretical. In addition to that, you need to build on your skills. That is the practical aspect of it, right? Also, you may need to augment what you have learned in your college with some additional skills that you require. Now, within an organization, you can still require those skills, right? Whatever resources you are available, you not only think in terms of an employee, think in terms of an entrepreneur within your own self, right? And bring in the necessary changes that is required. And all that you can do or make a difference is that bring in a positive attitude, bring in people skill, bring in managerial skills, and then you become one of the most successful person for that particular role. And that is why nowadays you will see that youngers are eligible, making themselves eligible to become the higher, or can see them at top positions like CEOs and the vice presidents and all of it. Right.
Thank you so much, Shesadev. And you're very right that we see a lot of young people getting into leadership positions. That's something that, is helping organizations as well. That's the reason organizations now tend to have young people come in leadership positions, because they see that, yes, they are the right kind of blend who understand what kind of problem are we really trying to solve. And we have seen that, we are all amazing problem solvers when we are a little young. And with age, we get a lot of experience. Sometimes that experience helps in solving problems better, but sometimes that experience also becomes a blockage. So for adults as well, if you are in your professional journey, there are times when you'll have to rejuvenate, rethink, re-understand yourself, and sometimes unlearn what you know and relearn something completely new. Thank you so much, Shesadev. Let's now listen to the school principals, because this conversation is really about teenagers, and they're the people who handle teens in hundreds and thousands every single day. So what's their perspective on this? That when a teen comes to them to talk about their career, their future, what's the perspective that a teenager has? Do they really want a degree? Do they want to focus on skills? Or are they superbly amazed by the glitter of entrepreneurship? What is it that brings them to the school leaders? And what's the answer that the school leaders have for them? Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Ms. Chetna Patel, the principal of AB School from Navsari, Gujarat. Chetna, ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you, sir. A pleasant good evening to everyone, Daksh, Gaur, sir, and all the co-panelists. Now, being into principal and interacting with teenagers day in and day out, I feel teens is a very sensitive age when they have not developed the complete understanding of their own career. It's mostly guided by their parents and their environment. Networking is something that degree helps you in. Like you get in touch with peers and you get in touch with professor. But at the same time, it is something that is time consuming and really expensive. It has limited job guarantee. You might have degree, but when we interview people, we see less lack of skills and confidence. So the second set of things that comes is skills. Along with degree, one must have a set of skills. Now what do? They connect the practical acquiring a skills, provide actually practical knowledge that is required with respect to the field. It also gives flexibility and it also gives career opportunity.
You're very right when you say that the teenager is not in that state that they're fully able to appreciate how would success really come to them, or what kind of a life are they really envisioning when they are in their class 11 or class 12, or when they're transitioning into college. So thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. The next speaker comes from a completely different country. So I would typically want them to answer some specific questions. A very warm welcome to Ms. Noor, Yanti, Aziza, the principal of SMA Nasional KPS from Indonesia. Ma'am, how does a teenager in Indonesia envision themselves, and what do schools in Indonesia do to typically give them the understanding of the globalized job market? Or are there any steps that you're taking in your school to make teenagers more employable and superbly successful in their life? Over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
As the principal of SMA National KPS, it's a private high school in Balikpapan, in Kalimantan, Indonesia. To answer the question, what guarantees teen success, whether degree, skills, or entrepreneurship, in my opinion, we agreed that they cannot be separated from one to another. Degrees are important for them to get a job, for example, to compete with others. In Indonesia, whenever they need to have to join a big organization, they of course need a special degree. And then skills, especially life skills, is very important for them to compete, to prepare them, since especially because we are a high school, to prepare them in the school era, school time, for the future, like life skill to communicate. So having an opportunity like that, have a public speaking ability is very important. Uh, whatever or however they are smart, if they have problem to communicate, I think it will be a big challenge for them to socialize.
Some very important points that you raised. We'll try to come back to you during the open floor. Life skills play a very critical role when you're specifically a teenager, because for teens, this is something that aligns them to their vision, that if they want to become, a professional or a businessman, or they want to get into employment, whatever they want to do, they would always need a set of soft skills or life skills that should come along with them. So school can play a very critical role in typically, developing these life skills for teenagers, because I think this is the best time a teen is ready to listen and to orient themselves towards developing these skills. So thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. N.S. Dinesh, the director for Jayapriya Vidyalaya Group of Institutions. So, sir, before you start speaking, as a director, how do you align and realign your institution's strategy with the changing, job market? And what are the steps that you take in your institutions so that your students and the teens that you might have around you find success in life? A very warm welcome.
Pranam and Prem to all. It's a very interesting topic that you have quoted for the day. I personally believe we need more entrepreneurs to get this through. Instead of being employees, I want our children to be more employers. Go acquire a lot of skills, acquire all the degrees that are relevant, and build an empire and see that what they can contribute to our country. Because once you get into the mindset of an entrepreneur, everything boils down, right? The right set of skills, right set of degrees, and your contribution to your nation. And all the skills that are required to acquire is something which I wanted our children to, get along during their journey. So I perfectly stand for, making all my children become future entrepreneurs, because we have many parents who have already built an empire and their students to take over that. And many parents even tell it to me, like, I don't know whether my son will be able to take over what I've already built. So that idea, I keep telling them, because it's not that the parents have already built. It's the mindset where the children should already have. It's not that, the parents have built, but they want to go abroad and work, or they wanted to work for any top MNC, right? So instead, I want our children to get into that, mindset right from the school days. That can happen only if they start building onto their idea, even small ideas, small projects. So we open a lot of avenues for them to work on every small projects that they can, so that their idea and their vision towards becoming an entrepreneur is made concrete in the younger days.
Thanks so much, N.S. Dinesh, sir. And you're very right that developing the instinct of an entrepreneur is far more important than really, pushing them into entrepreneurship, because some people might have a family business that comes to them. So it's not very important that you become an entrepreneur from day one and start disrupting everything. But the sense that, yes, I as an individual can handle the world, that's typically entrepreneurship. When you say that, okay, I'm all in for all the risks that are there, with open arms, let things come and I'll deal with them as and when they come. So that spirit is very critical. And if you're able to, I think that's the reason why entrepreneurship has now become very critical in India. A lot of teenagers are amazed by it. A lot of institutions are trying to do it. But yes, the attitude is far more important than really actually going and taking up the risk. Because for a lot of teens, it might not be a good choice to take, get into entrepreneurship, because that's a high risk zone. But yes, having that instinct or having that attitude will surely help in whichever direction you go in life. Thank you so much, N.S. Dinesh, sir. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Jyotsna Manoj, the principal and the head of school for the Indian Public School, Hyderabad, Telangana. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Over to you.
you, Daksh. Good evening, dear all. Here we are probing into this most debated and the most compromised topic: what guarantees or contributes to a teen's success, whether it is the skills, degrees, or entrepreneurship. That it is not just one thing that influences a teenager's success. Success is always shaped by a blend of the innate intelligence and the learned skills, also fueled by personal goals, interests, and circumstances. Self-awareness too. And as Daksh had been asking about how we manage in our schools, we follow multiple Indian and international curricula in all our schools. But we have maybe a set of common activities designed to help our students to fine-tune their skills. So once again, I'm telling like it is a blend of all these together, the innate intelligence and the learned skills. Falling short in any one of these areas can negatively impact the overall outcome. Students may not be able to successful if they are completely focused on any one of these alone. For example, if you look at the Indian scenario, Indian educational scenario, where the parents are in a rat race to procure a seat in the IITs or the medical colleges for their children, often ignoring the skill sets required. The coaching industry thrives with centers of excellence, bragging about the high success rates. Please note the point here that this can be obtained by following a specific study pattern where skills don't matter much. The rat race begins at an early stage of grade 6 or 7 that the child is deprived of all co-curricular activities. Even I have in my school too, there are many parents meeting me thinking about, the co-curricular activities wouldn't help the child to procure a seat in the IITs. So this is just contrary to what is happening in the US. If you look at the universities there is a competition for admission to top universities. How do they select the students for? The entrance process has become completely opaque there. The race begins early, with students striving to master hobbies, excel academically, volunteer, charity programs, take on extra work, and hire consultants to craft their essays too. They cannot craft it by themselves. So looking at these, we can say there is no fixed formula for success. Success is subjective and differs from one person to another. The so-called success is celebrated with joy and social recognition. While what is happening when our teenagers or when our students fail, failure often results in depression and other challenges. So my question is, are we successful in helping our teens to be successful? That's why I say it is essential that we need to have a blend of all these elements along with socio-emotional learning.
Thank you so much, Jyotsna ma'am. Some very important points that you raised, that yes, study patterns could help you get into premier institutions. It's not necessary that you have developed the skill. People have hacked the selection process, and that hacked system might not be able to produce the right kind of students for these premier institutes. When you even talk of the US universities, you're very right that the process there is superbly opaque. You don't know how it's really happening. Children hire consultants to write their essays. You're very right. They force, themselves to get amazing marks through their SATs, work a lot on their hobbies, but they still don't know who'll really make into that premier university. I think there needs to be a lot of conversation around this as well, that how are universities really doing those admissions? Can we have a little more transparent? Can we have a little more space to talk and know that what can a student really do to keep the competition organic and not make it completely inorganic, where, it becomes a fight which, goes beyond you being a child or a teenager yourself. When you need professionals to get into a college, I think that's not the right college. You'll have to figure it out more. That's an institution that's meant for kids. So a kid should be able to break through the complete system. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Veerendra Kumar, the principal of Cambrian Public School from Ranchi, Jharkhand. Veerendra ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
Good evening, everyone. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here on this platform. एक चीज मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा कि डिग्री, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप और स्किल्स में से हम ये कहते हैं स्कूल लेवल पर अगर आपके पास स्किल्स होंगी तो आप डिग्री भी हासिल कर सकते हैं, आप एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप भी हासिल कर सकते हैं। ये अगर हम कहें तो ये एक युद्ध है। डिग्री उस युद्ध का एक गेटवे है। आपकी स्किल्स उस युद्ध को जीतने में सहायक होंगी, उसका आपके शस्त्र हैं, और जो परिणाम आपका निकलेगा वो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के रूप में निकलेगा बाद में। तो अगर आपके अंदर कहते हैं, आपने जैसे आपने पीछे अभी कहा था कि मेले में जाएंगे, अगर आपके पास या कहीं घूमने तो एंटर तो कर सकते हैं, लेकिन परचेजिंग के लिए जेब में पैसे नहीं होंगे तो परचेज क्या करेंगे सर? तो वो परचेजिंग पावर है आपकी स्किल्स, लेकिन जो डेवलप होनी चाहिए बच्चे में। अच्छा, अब ये कहते हैं, जैसे अभी बीच में बात आई कि बहुत सारी हमारे ऑक्यूपेशंस ऐसे हैं जिनके लिए डिग्री होना जरूरी है, डॉक्टर हुआ और वो सारी चीजें हुआ। लेकिन ये भी हमने देखा कि पिछले कोविड के दौरान बहुत सारे झोला छाप डॉक्टरों ने असंख्य जीवन बचाए, और डिग्री वाले डॉक्टरों ने शायद वो कहीं ना कहीं, तो वो भी हमने उस चीज को देखा। तो और अभी हम पीछे मैं एक खबर सुन रहा था कि एक क्लास 12 के बच्चे ने गूगल में और कैनवा में बग निकाला, और गूगल ने और कैनवा ने उसे 50 और 60 लाख का एक पैकेज ऑफर किया। तो इसलिए मैं ये कहता हूं कि स्किल्स अगर बच्चे के अंदर हैं तो आप डिग्री भी हासिल करेंगे, आप एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप भी हासिल करेंगे, लेकिन जरूरी है अपनी स्किल्स को लगातार डेवलप करते रहना।
थैंक यू सो मच वीरेंद्र जी। एंड समाज जो है वो केवल किसी की डिग्री की वजह से उसको एक्रेडिटेशन नहीं दे देगा। There are a lot of things that play a lot of role. As it's very well said, it needs a village to raise a child. तो हर तरीके का एक्सपीरियंस, हर तरीके की इमोशन, हर तरीके की स्किल, a lot of things are required to really make somebody successful. It will always be a blend. But what we are really trying to figure out today is that when a teenager asks this question, either to a principal or to a university guy, what is the kind of guarantee that he or she is looking at? Because a teenager might not go so deep into the question, but for sure will have deep curiosity around this. This is what we are trying to figure out. Thank you so much, sir. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Vijay B, the principal of Shemford Futuristic School from Vania Badi, Tamil Nadu. I hope I'm speaking it right. A very warm welcome, sir. Over to you for the next 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the golden opportunity given to me. And let me start with a quote said by an author and an educator. The skills that matter most are not just academic, but also social, economic, emotional, and creative. As we navigate the complexities of this 21st century, it is becoming very increasingly clear that the traditional notion of success is no longer sufficient. Because degrees are not longer a guarantee of success. In fact, many of the world's most successful person are dropouts or have non-traditional educational backgrounds. So what sets them apart from the ability to acquire certain skills, adapting to the change and circumstances where they've been involved, and to have a cultivating an entrepreneurial mindset. So skills like critical thinking, problem solving, and communication are essential in today's competitive world. So entrepreneurship, many of them speakers told about, it's not just about the business, being empathetical, being in other shoes, and that mindset that encourages innovation, resilience, and continuous lifelong learning. So it's not about embracing uncertainty, taking the calculated risk, and preserving the face of adversity. So as we move forward, it's essential that we recognize the values of skills over degrees. We need to have a culture that encourages lifelong learning. Alvin Toffler, the author of the book My Dreams, have said, the illiterate of 21st century is not those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. As educators of future Bharat, we have to we have to facilitate the students to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So we need to create a culture that encourages a lifelong learning, experimentation, and innovation. So by doing so, we can surely unlock the fullest potential of our young bloomers in our class and our school to create a brighter future for generations to come. To conclude, as an educator, I see that skills are the key to guarantee teen success. By focusing on the practicing this practical skills, any teenager can adapt to the ever-changing world that is a job market, stand out from the competition, and build a strong foundation for future success.
Thank you so much, Vijay. Said I think the first principle to give a very straightforward answer that yes, if you have the skills, you'll be able to achieve it. So I think the answer that guarantees your success is skill. Work on your skill. Even Veerendra said about that, that skilling is something that will guarantee that you are at least able to make your ends meet at any point of time. And I think the most important skill is to learn, relearn, and unlearn. This is the most critical skill, that are we really able to make lifelong learners? Because the next generation will not have a life that where they enter an organization and retire from the same one. They might not enter one industry and retire from the same industry. They will be juggling through roles, juggling through jobs, juggling through the kind of lifestyle that they have. Thank you so much, Vijay sir. So now it's time to finally listen to the teenagers who have listened to all the adults. So what do the teens have to really say about that? What do they think will guarantee their success? Because they know the job market, they are seeing the way the world is evolving around them. So what's their opinion on whether they'll be able to achieve success through skills, through degrees, or through entrepreneurship? Let me invite the first teen guest for today's session. A very warm welcome to Miss Aleena Abid, who's a grade 8 student from Lucent Global School, Anantnag, Jammu and Kashmir. Aleena, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you, sir. Greetings, everyone. Myself, Aleena Abid. I'm from grade 8, Lucent Global School. And today, I'm going to talk about a crucial topic that affects us all: what guarantees teen success. As teenagers, we are always being asked what we want to become when we grow up. But the truth is, the world is changing really fast. New jobs are being created, and old ones are disappearing. So, what does it take to succeed in this changing world? Some people might say it's all about getting good grades and going to college, and that's important. But it's not the only thing. Others might say it's about learning specific skills like designing or graphic design or the coding. And those skills are definitely useful, but they are not the only ones you need. The truth is, success is about more than just one thing. It's about being curious, trying new things, and learning from your mistakes. It's about being brave enough to take risks and try new things. Some of the most successful people in the world didn't follow the traditional path. They took risks, tried new things, and learned from their mistakes. So, what can we do in order to set ourselves up for success? First, we need to stay curious and keep learning, whether it's in school, online, or through real world experiences. We need to keep challenging ourselves and trying new things. Second, we need to be brave enough to take risks. That might mean trying out for a sports team or participating in some random competitions or debates. Finally, we need to learn from our mistakes. Because the truth is, we are all going to make mistakes, but it's how we respond to those mistakes that really matters. In conclusion, to succeed in a world that's always changing, we need to combine good education, useful skills, and a willingness to try new things. By doing this, we can surely reach our full potential, create a better future, and make a difference in the world.
Thank you so much, Aleena. And I think it's amazing to know that the teenagers of today are superbly curious and superbly open to experiment, because that's the most critical skill that you'll need when you get into the job market. Because nobody, I am very sure that any professional or anyone who's right now, in their working life can say that, yes, I can predict the future jobs from now. Nobody knows how the future jobs are going to look like. So just keep that curiosity going on. Thank you so much, Aleena. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Miss Aleena Aejaz from grade 8, Lucent Global School, Anantnag, Jammu and
Greetings,
Kashmir.
everyone. It's a great pleasure to talk about a subject that plays an important role in determining our future. What assures teen success? Degrees, skills, or entrepreneurship? This is more relevant today than ever as the world keeps changing rapidly. Teen success is dependent on various factors. But if I had to choose one that stands out, it would be skills. Skills are the foundation of success because they represent our ability to perform, adapt, and innovate. They are not just tools for survival. They are catalysts for growth. Whether technical, creative, or interpersonal, skills define how effectively one can navigate life challenges. Now let's consider degrees. Degrees have been seen as tickets to success. They represent formal education, provide a theoretical framework, and access to certain career paths. However, a degree without relevant skills often falls short. Many graduates struggle to find jobs because they lack the practical expertise that employers demand. On the other hand, skilled individuals, even without any formal qualification, frequently excel because they can deliver results. A degree is valuable, but only when paired with applicable skills. Entrepreneurship is another vital piece of this puzzle. But it's not just about starting a business, it's about a mindset. Entrepreneurs are creators and problem solvers who transform ideas into reality. Entrepreneurship thrives on innovation, resilience, and leadership. However, it relies heavily on skills. Without them, even the most ambitious entrepreneur can struggle. A teen who combines technical expertise with entrepreneurial thinking can not only create opportunities for himself, but also positively impact others. The key is alignment. Success arises from the proper alignment of our education, career, and ambitions with our strengths. Think about a teen who excels in art but decides to pursue engineering due to societal pressure. All that artistic talent is wasted, and they could be failing at the degree field they chose too. When skills, education, and career choices align, success becomes more accessible and rewarding. Hence, what is success ensured by? The synergy of skills, education, and entrepreneurship. Skills build a base, education builds a structure, and entrepreneurship sparks innovation. This alignment brings in the ability to succeed at whatever one undertakes. To all the teens, invest in discovering and nurturing your skills. Pursue education that aligns with your passions and embrace an entrepreneurial spirit. Success isn't about living to expectations, but rather ensuring what your path is based on. It should be based on who you are. Hope this inspires you to write your own successful story. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aleena. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Miss Rachel Ladihaque, a student of grade 11 from SMA Nasional KPS from Indonesia. Rachel, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to say thank you for this opportunity. Very grateful for this opportunity. So I'm just going to start with what is teen success? So I think that teen success is something relative. Each person, each teenager, of course, has their own definition of what success is. So let's assume that the teen success means the help achieved by teenagers in their life in the future. Or I guess, let's say, the goals in the future. So every teenager has their own goals in mind. For example, like getting a degree, winning competition, getting good grades at school, having their own company, and many more. Okay, so back to the topic. What guarantees teen success? Degree, skills, or entrepreneurship? Well, I think all of these three are interdependent. They all complement each other. Of course, getting a degree makes it way easier to get a job. That's why I think that we should focus on how to develop team skills and potential. For example, in my school, we have events that are held by students. One of the examples are international festivals. So international festival is basically the big event that provides competition for a range of fields like science, math, English, and more performance competitions where students can show their talent. We are able to provide students to compete with each other to strengthen and develop their skills.
So much, Rachel, for sharing the kind of events that you have at school, the kind of exposure that you get through those events, and the kind of blend of all of these things that a teenager needs to be successful in life. So we've listened to all the speakers for today, and we are nearly at the conclusion of this session. We have just some minutes left. If there's something that you want to add during the open floor, we have the next 2 to 3 minutes for that. A very warm welcome to Naganagouda sir for his closing remarks on this topic. So please unmute yourself.
It was a very, very enriching, interesting session. I want to share with you a very, very Indian way of building professional success, not as a student, not degree or not skill or not entrepreneurship. I think I call this as Dasha Prameyas for life. Okay, the one is Jnana, Bhakti, Vairagya, Prajna, Meda Shakti, Dhriti, Stuti, Yoga, Prana, and Bala. So these are the Sanskrit words. I've tried to translate them into English and then trying to see how I can make sense out of it, and I'll probably share with you so that you can share with the rest of the audience. I think most important is don't pressurize children in the way the world is going. Everybody is unique. Everybody is a potential gold mine. Everybody is a diamond. Allow them to flourish and flower their desires, ambitions, aspirations, dreams, so that we create a very, very sustainable, futuristic world where everybody will live in a happy moment, because happiness is very important today. It's not about success. How happy I am is very, very important. So on that note, I wish everybody a very, very happy life and happy success all the way.
Thank you so much, Naganagouda sir. I think Chetna ma'am wants to add something. Ma'am, over to you. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, sir. So ultimately, I would like to conclude by saying the key to success, if someone comes to me and asks me for a guidance, especially if that's a teenager, then it should be develop skills that are in demand and can be applied to various industries. Desired career would always require a specific degree, so pursue for that higher education. Develop an entrepreneur mindset and stay up to date and keep your saw sharpened with respect to the new developments by keeping your skills updated. And build relationship. Above all, be ready to adapt and have resilience, because these are the two key things that if I feel I will not be able to, I mean, children these days are not able to handle failures, so they need to have the quality, develop resilience among themselves. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Chetna ma'am. We're nearly at the end of the session.
Yeah.
The time is nearly over. So before the session comes to an end, just a concluding thought. Look around yourself. You'll find a solution of a guarantee of success. Everyone around you has a solution to this question and has a perfect answer to this question. The world works on a very simple mode. The world is looking for problem solvers. The bigger a problem you solve, the more successful you are. The smaller a problem you solve, the less successful you are. So think of things in a way that how many people can you help? And for how many people are you really critical for? That's the guarantee for success. That if you can help 1 billion people, you're superbly successful. If you can help 1 million people, you might be a little less successful. If you can only help yourself, that's when you're truly a failure. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the Blub World Web Talks. This was the 246th episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, and if you want to attend the future sessions, please unmute yourself and say a big yes. And thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the Blub World Web Talks.